Good morning, hello coders, good morning. It is Thursday morning, it's 7:06 GMT, and today what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something slightly different. We're still going to be working on the design patterns course, don't worry about that, we're still going to be working on that, but today I think what I'm going to do is alter how that course is presented. And I've been thinking about this a lot the last sort of 24 hours since the last stream. The design patterns course is using this tool called MARP, which is a wonderful tool. It's a wonderful tool. It allows you to convert markdown files into a PowerPoint presentation, keynotes, another awesome things, PDFs as well. It's what I use when I do public speaking. I create my talk in MARP, and then I convert that down into a PowerPoint PPT. I think it is PPX or something like that. Import that into Keynote, and away I go. That's my slides. And I thought that I could use this for the courses. So if you don't know, if I go over to, I press that button again, my stream deck is still not working. If I go into the code here, if I go to this screen, this is the design patterns course, but we've also got, if I go into here, if I did an LS, we've also got the JavaScript fundamentals course. This is the other course that I'm doing, and I want to have a consistent way of presenting these courses. So I started this with the mindset of presenting the courses, therefore I need to have a means of creating presentations that I can use through Keynote and other such good things. However, I think my needs for the courses have actually outgrown the capabilities of MARP. In fact, I think I'm using MARP in a way that perhaps MARP doesn't necessarily, its core values don't lie in. Because essentially what I want to do, and I was really thinking about this last night as the three things that I want to offer as products for these courses. So when someone comes in and gets one of my courses, whether it's the JavaScript fundamentals or the PHP object-oriented design patterns course, they come away with three things. The first thing is that they get the videos, so that'll be all the videos in the course. And another thing is that they get the code. So in terms of the PHP design patterns course, they get the code that they can run in their local servers. Right, so that's what they can use and experiment with, but they also get the slides as well, and the slides I'm thinking are things. It's essentially a micro site, created using Markdown files, much like with MARP. But this microsite could actually be embedded into the How to Code Well platform once I build it, in perhaps an iframe. Right, so they can actually see the slides on the How to Code Well platform when they log in. It would be injected through an iframe, so they can see that. But also, if it was done in a static site, then they could also download the files and run it locally as well. So now I'm starting to think that it's less of a presentation and more of a website. And how do I approach it in that sort of space where instead of approaching it from it's a presentation and I want to convert the presentation into a website, what about converting a website into a presentation? So what I'm thinking, and if I go back into all the code here, we can see that we've got the slides. These are the slides. So we've got an awful lot of slides. Some I need to commit back in. So a load of these, all of these slides for these sections here, lots and lots and lots of stuff, and then up in this folder here, the code folder, we have the actual code for the actual sections. So the code and the slides are two separate entities of the two separate products that I'm providing, right? Code and slides. Essentially, they don't actually need to be in the same repository, the same thing. Which means which gives me a level of flexibility. So if I don't have the code inside the slide as a directory inside the slides, I then have complete control over what I could use to build the slides in. And if I'm thinking of it in terms of a website where we have consistent navigation, where we've got consistent sort of actions, that kind of thing, consistent menus, consistent flow, where we've got in the slides, for instance, we've got a list, like a table of contents, that kind of thing. Then perhaps I'm leaning more towards another tool that isn't MARP. And as long as I can create the website to be a presentation, so then I am the person who is like narrating the slides. Perhaps there's an element of the slide where I want to be sort of a talking head over the slide, so I'll have a green screen behind me. As long as I can still do that, then I think that would be fine. And what I would do, obviously, is I would put the slide deck into OBS, and then I would create a new scene. I think is it a scene, or is it what do they call it in OBS? It's scene collection. I would create a new scene collection with many scenes and many sources, and one of the sources would be the background, which would be the slide deck. And as long as I can press left and right on the keyboard to go back and forth in the slide deck, essentially going from one page to another page, then that's pretty much what I want to do. So I thought, why don't we experiment with Gatsby? Because I've been doing Gatsby frequently in the evenings for the How to Code Well websites. There is a Gatsby site for the code challenges that is every month. There is a Gatsby site that I'm building for our code of conduct. And it just occurs to me that maybe Gatsby is probably the way forward. And if I was to think of all of these courses, because there's going to be more, right? There's going to be far more courses than this, hopefully eventually in the future. I would like to have some sort of consistent a set of plugins or components, if you will, that I could just inject into the websites. That would be the menu, would be the styling, would be all the bits and pieces. So we've got Gatsby, we've got Tailwind, and with Tailwind you can create your own theme, which means that I could have a theme that I could import into these courses. And I just think that's probably a better approach than trying to convert a MARP presentation into a website that looks like what I want it to look like, because essentially I want a presentation and a website together. And also with Gatsby, of course, it gives you the ability to use or convert your website into a PWA. So I could, if I wanted to, I could create a theme for an actual website to be viewed on a mobile phone or a tablet, and maybe a theme for presenting, right? And then I would use some Tailwind rules to change the way it looks based on that. I know it sounds a little bit grandiose. It sounds a little bit of a massive challenge, but I thought rather than push down and discuss some design patterns this morning, why don't I just draw a line in the sand and say, right, before we do any more patterns, because this is the last stream. This is the last stream, or a weekday stream this side of this year. Before we go any further, why don't we just draw a line in the sand and see if we can actually experiment with Gatsby, see if we can actually get something that remotely looks okay. And it's one of those things, the more you experiment, the more your decisions change, and we'll see. So what I would like to do this morning is I would like to take a look at the slides for the behavioral these things. I would like to go through all of these, or at least a handful of them anyway, and see if I can convert them into into a website, then I can manipulate using using the keyboard. I think that would be a great win. And I found this the other day. It's the that's the starter deck, right? So this is Fabe starter deck, and there is, here we go. This is what drew me to this, because this is looking very similar to how I would convert MARP slides. So we would use the we would use the 3 dashes to denote that that is a slide. So if I went back to here and had a look into the behavioral and say, let's say the command pattern, for instance, actually memento, that'll do. Can you see that we've got all of the 3 dashes? That is a slide. That is a slide. And also the front matter. The front matter can get injected. Well, will be used as variable properties in Gatsby, which means that I could, if I wanted to, I could convert the theme on the fly based on the slide. So, for instance, if I wanted to have a slide that I was a talking head in, I would just set a value in here in Gatsby, talking head, true, false, that kind of thing, and that would change the classes, the CSS classes. Manipulate those to change the way the actual the slide looks. So if it was a talking head, then perhaps the deck would turn into a 2-column layout. You can't really do this. You can't have this level of intelligence with MARP, because MARP is, and this is the beauty of MARP. MARP is done in such a way that it's so simple to create a slide deck. Really simple in MARP, but when you start trying to do some clever things with the theming, that which becomes a bit of an issue. And so what I'm thinking of is seeing if I can get this done in Gatsby. So let's see. That's the Gatsby starter page. I'm just going to bring this down here a minute whilst I just have a play with it, because there was another thing I found as well. So I'll just want to, it was Gatsby slide deck. There was one, and there was like 2 or 3. No, it wasn't that one. It wasn't that one. It was I don't think it was starter deck. Where is it? Where is it? Visit the demo. Aha, here we go. So I'll go bring this up here. Okay, so this is essentially what it could look like, right? So you can see it's already responsive, which is awesome. And I can also use the arrow keys to go forward and back, right? Forward and back, the different slides. So, and if I had a look at the URL here, we can see that's going to 4. And if I went back to here, that would go to 3. So they are the pages. And this is how you do it. So you Gatsby My Slides starter deck. And then you start, and there you go. You can put in GIFs, you can put in other things, much like you could do with MARP, it's all good. Hey, Stalin Boy, hello thank you for joining. Good morning. Today what we're doing is we're playing around with Gatsby. That's what we're doing today. Essentially, that's what we're essentially doing today, because I want to experiment and see if there is a different way of creating these presentations, and I'm thinking Gatsby might be a win. I think in Gatsby is a win. One thing I'm unsure of, and I'll put my hand up to this, is I said that earlier I wanted to do I wanted to have these presentations being pulled into an iframe in the How to Code Well platform. So I don't know yet if I can do that using the keyboard. Like, I don't know if I can control the slide decks using the keyboard if it's in an iframe. I'm not sure about the focus. I don't know. It's something I'm going to have to look into. But I think this is a great example. And if I can get this, if I can get a slide deck like this, which has the behavioral slides in here, if I can get them into something like this, then that would be a great win. That would be a great win. So let's see. If we go over to here, we can see that how you can create your own starter deck. I think that was the end of the slides. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that. Can you put this example in an iframe? Oh. Well, I guess that would be a great start, wouldn't it, Tyrannid? What is it with you and having clever questions? Hello, Tyrannid. That's a very good question. Can I actually put this in an iframe and then control it? That's probably the best way of starting this, isn't it? Rather than actually going full force. Okay, let's see if we can do that. Let's see. Let's do I'm going to do an mkdir. You can see I was playing with Jenkins the other day. mkdir. Let's just do temp. Let's just put everything in temp for now. Let's just create a HTML file. I'm just going to do index.html, and we're going to have iframe. No, insert mode. Sorry. Here we go. iframe src. Close the iframe, and then this is going to be the iframe, isn't it? So if we grab that, put that in there. Let me see now. Let's just drag that. I'm going to just need a browser down here a minute. Let's see if I can find. Okay, so let's see. I can manipulate the iframe width and height as well. So that's an interesting job. I guess just in case it does break, let's make it into a proper web page, I suppose. Oops. Wrong. Damn it. Wrong thing. iframe. Put that in your iframe. That's fine. Oh dear. Close the body. And finally close HTML. Marvelous. Whoops. Okay, let's come out of this. Right and quit. Thank you. Right. So now, if we did an open of index.html, bring that over here. Okay, this is a slide deck. So obviously I need to change the dimensions. But if I was to click onto there, can I go left and right? No, I can't. Oh yes, I can. No, I can. It has taken scope. It has taken scope. Okay, so I'm controlling it via the keys. I'm controlling it via keys. So that's a win, right? So if I came out of here and pressed left and right, then I don't have the scope. So I'm going to have to click into there and then get in the scope. So it might be that I create some JavaScript to force the scope into the box, but at least I know that it works, right? And if I changed the, if I was in here and changed the, say the, I don't know, the width of this, if I can spell width, of course, SRC. Let's change that to, say 1080. Let's see if that does anything different. Let's see. Right, quit. Okay, so it's looking better. Right, let's see if we can change the height of this. Ah! What would that be? That would be, I don't know. Let's just do 800 for now. That's not the right ratio, I know. But I want to just, I'm looking down here because I can't find the damn escape key. Oops. Quit. There we go. Q&A. What am I doing? I think. And then, ta-da! There we go. Check that out. That is awesome. That is awesome. Thank you very much, Fabian, for coming up with this. This is a brilliant tool. So if I can get this example working right with the slides that I've got for the design patterns course, then what I'm thinking is up here, you know, above the slides. So we would have, say, a menu where we would have like tabs, if you will. One would be videos. So you would click on that and you would get the video portion of the course. You click on another tab and that tab would say code, and that would give you the code for the course. And another tab would be slides, which would be this, right? Which would be this. So that is our proof of concept. So can we now, if I was to come out of here, so if I came out of that, and let's rename this to something a little bit more sensible. Let's do a MV of temp to be test site or something like that. I don't know, test site. And then what we can do, ls, is we can create our, I'll tell you what, let's do mkdir. I'm going to put all of this into temp. I'm going to make temp and I'm going to move mv test sites. I know what I'm doing, honest. Test sites into temp. Temp into test site? No, move test site into temp. Test site into temp. All right, we're now into temp. What I want to do here is I want to create the actual slide deck, right? So let's just clear down the screen. So I can actually go all the way to here, can't I? Grab that. Paste that in here. Change the where it says new, where it says my slides. We're going to do PHP design patterns, because that's the name of the course. Actually, what I'll do is I'll just put course in, because you know this is a concept, so I'll just put course in. So that's going to clone all the bits and pieces and download the deck. Stalin Boys asked, "How is my pupper?" He's good, thank you. He's not in the office at the moment. He's out and about. But he's very, very good, thanks. We've been teaching him how not to pull on his leash, and that is something that you have to be very, very patient with. We managed to get him to 30 paces without charging, and then he'll charge, and then we have to go back and sort that out. So it's a slow process. It's a slow process, but it's getting there. It's getting there. He's adorable though. You know, you can't get annoyed with him because he just looks at you with those puppy dog eyes. So I saw a bunch of errors there, which is a bit worrying. Installing packages, blah, 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 blah. And then this is something to do with Node GYP rebuild. Something has gone bang. I think this is a version problem. However, it does say that it has been built, so go figure. Let's do an ls. Let's just continue on and see if we can ignore those errors. Okay, so from here, I can do Gatsby. This is where it's going to blow apart, isn't it? Gatsby. I can do Gatsby, and I can run. I can run develop, or I can run build. We'll run develop first, just because we might have those errors. And I probably need to. Whoops! I probably need to do that in a port. Port 9090. Darren had said that he thinks that there's a Bootstrap has responsive iframe thing as well. Yeah, that's a good consideration. Having the actual the iframe itself being responsive is probably a good thing to. Yeah. I'll have to have a look at that and see if there is anything in Tailwind. I'm not entirely sure there is, so I'll have to double check. Keek B has said good morning to you. All right, so this is our local host. So let's see if we can get this and see if we can run this. Which we're doing. We're winning. We are winning. And we can go... this is me controlling it via the keyboard, which is awesome. KK, sorry. Okay, cool. I'm loving this. I really am loving this. So that's a win. Right. Let's see if we can get. Let's see if we can get this into here. Right. So this is localhost. This is running localhost 9090, isn't it? So let's copy that in. Go into the terminal again. Let's bring up another window here. Where was I? I was in CD, code how to work code well, courses. I believe I was in temp. Let's do an ls. This is probably not. Yeah. I'm going to, because this is going to be awkward to run. Let's just come out of this, bring up horizontal view. That's probably easier for me to deal with. Let's go back into to here. Let's do a VI of this and no. That's the wrong file. Sorry, it is actually in test site. Okay, so what we're going to do essentially is we're going to change the SRC to be the local host. Now I've got a big feeling that this is going to work. I've got a great feeling that this is going to work. So let's go to here, make sure that's in my clipboard, paste that into here, remove the 2. Okay, so let's come out of that. Now, let's see if we go to here and refresh. Oh dear. Oh, it's because I've changed the path, haven't I? I've changed the path of it. Beg your pardon. Okay, it's okay. It's me. I've changed the whole path of it. So let's do an open of that. There we go. So this is our iframe, and it's in the iframe, and it's looking really good. It's actually looking better in the iframe than it was outside of the iframe, but I think that's because of the height constraint. Wonderful news. Wonderful news. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to drag that over here a minute whilst I just play around with this, is I'm going to actually open the I'm going to open up this in PHP Storm. So bear with me just a second whilst I try and get my windows in order. File, open, and it is in code, it is in courses, it is in temp, it is in test, it's in course. There we go. That is the right one, isn't it? Yeah. Open that up. Let's do a new window because I'm going to have both PHP Storm windows open, unfortunately. Okay, so this is the Gatsby site that we've just downloaded, and here is the slides. So my first question is, I need a cup of tea. That's not a question, it's a statement, but the first thing I'm going to do is have a cup of tea. There's something about the first tea in the morning. The first question is, can I use multiple levels of directories of slides? So for example, with, I have to bring it up here. So this, for instance, we have the behavioral, the creational, and the structural. And in these, we have our own markdown files. In fact, what I'm going to do, just to have a one-to-one comparison, is I'm going to just run npx slides, and I'm just going to show you what it looks like in MARP first, and then I'll, that's probably a good example to as a comparison piece. So this will build hopefully the slides. I've put it in watch mode for some reason, but hey. There we go. That's converting all of the slides now. So this means that in the dist folder, we now have the HTML files which were built based on the slides, which means that it's gone through all of the directory structures and it's kept to the directory structures like so. And what I was doing was I was in say, I don't know, here, we would have a footer. So it would go down, it would traverse the directory structure to the relevant place. So anyway, this is now running, isn't it? This is now in index.html, and if I clicked on open here, this is what it looks like, right? This is what it looks like. So we've got, you would click on one of these things, it would take you to the design, the behavioral design patterns. You would click on one of these things, it would take you to, say, the command pattern. You would go through the command pattern like this, and then you would go to the next one, and then that would be the null object pattern. You would go through this one. It has buttons as well to run examples. This is what I'm trying to replicate. And then we had the footer thing down here. So if I was to drag that up and hit creational or structural, you can see, all of the design patterns for those as well. A lot of these I haven't built yet, so I'll put my hands up and say a lot of these haven't been built yet. What I want to do, though, is I want to have a template that I can work with in the future. So essentially, I want to replicate this sort of behavior. Okay, so I want to replicate that, and I want to do that in there. That's what I want to do. So let's see. If I was to copy all of the behavioral stuff, let's just see if I can just copy the whole folder and put that into here, right? Paste. Yes. Right. Let's see if that works. So that's the slides, isn't it? Can I do? It would be behavioral. We're watching this, so it's going to be in static. It should be somewhere in here. Page. Whoa. Maybe not. Has that done any? Yeah, so it's ran a whole bunch of queries. Can you see? Because we are watching this, so we've added the behavioral .md, and then it's ran a whole bunch of things. So I am hoping that I can go to rename here. I'm hoping that I might be able to go behavioral and then see if I can do, I don't know, command. Let's go a rename. I've got a horrible feeling this isn't going to work, but we'll see. Behavioral command.html. Is that going to work? That's a bit weird. Why has it done that? Okay. So something's working. Though that's gone to... Oh, of course, because what's happened here... Ah, I see. So where we've got the numbers... page data, sorry. These are the slide decks. I gotcha. Oh, dear. That's not what I was intending. That's not what I was intending. I wasn't intending that. That wasn't the plan. I wasn't going to have like slide 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wanted these to be HTML pages that represented the presentation note. That's a bit frustrating. Okay. I mean, is that such a bad thing? Let's see if I go back here. Yeah, because you can see it's going through all of the things. So it is essentially working, I guess. But my concern is that because we've lost the directory structure, we've also lost the links. So if I was to have a look and see what these links are, these would go straight to the mediator.html. I would have to know what page number the mediator pattern is on. And that is actually, that's a challenge. That's a challenge. This is why I preferred, this is why with the MARP stuff, it was really useful to have the directory structures, right? So in slides you would have directory structures, and then that would build the represented directory structures in the dist folder. If I click the link as Tyrannus has asked, that will probably throw an error. It will go to this this directory structure where it's trying to look for a particular slide. I mean, actually, to be honest, to be fair to it, I don't actually have... Let's put in the null pattern. Do I have the null pattern? Did I put that in? I'm getting confused now. Let's open this up to course here. Let's take that away. So I did put the... Yeah, null object. Yeah. Let's just see what this... If they've got anything here. So we've got the intro slide and we've got the outro slide. We've got templates, slide.js. Okay, that's fine. Now, this is quite interesting because let's take a look at something else, because I have created code challenges. This is the code challenges website, which I probably need to update on this machine. So let's just do a git pull. And this takes, in SRC, this takes markdown pages, which are in 2019, 2020. And in here, I create the path for it. So then when it comes to the public, when it gets built like 2019 and the index and the 404 pages. So in 2019, we will have December, and in December, we'll have the actual data for that. Yeah, but the thing is, I don't want to define the path for every single slide. Oh man. You can see I'm in the weeds here. Is there a way I can get around that? Is there a way I could use the file name as the path? Because essentially that's what I want to do. I want to use the file name and I want to use the directory it's in. There must be a way I can do this. I mean, if you think of it like a blog, right? You would have the file name, yeah, that would work. And documentation sites as well, that would work. There must be a way. There must be a way I can do that. So the Code Challenges site, if you're interested in it, is and I'll just show it to you now. So this is the Code Challenges site. So every month we do a challenge here on Discord. This one is the December. This is this month's challenge, and you got last month's challenge here. These are Markdown files. This is a Markdown file, and then this is a Markdown file, right? And with the video and all the bits and pieces. So it's possible. It is possible to do this. So, but the beauty of this is I can have the arrow keys, and the beauty of this is that I can have it in directory structures. So I need to kind of find some sort of way of sellotaping both things together. This just uses the standard way of creating a template in React, and from this template we're using GraphQL as a means of getting the getting the file, the Markdown file, based on the path that you supply. So the path here would be what you're sending in, and it would be equaling that. So this path would be the path up here, which would be the path up here. If I wanted to, I could change this to be something else. I could change this to be like another variable that's defined in the front matter here. It could even be the date. So this could be the date, right? That could be the date that it's looking for. So I think there is scope for play there. But obviously, if we went down the route of just creating a standard Gatsby site, we then lose the features that are in here, which would be in slide.js. We would, if I try to find it now, it would be in a component, transitions. So why don't I try and merge the two? So here we've got like link to one, putting in the names. This is the template wrapper. Swipe left. This is the jazz. So swipe left, swipe right. This is the key presses. But the challenge, of course, that I've just thought of is knowing what is the next thing. With this, of course, I can go. It's just incrementing and de-incrementing. I guess is that word. The numbers. So it would go 1, 2, or 2, 1, and yeah. So my own reasoning of using this has actually broken the fact that I want to use this, because I can't use numbers, because I need to have that level of hierarchy unless I knew exactly what number these things were in. This is getting really, really complicated. I thought this morning that this would be a nice little break from actually writing the PHP code, But in fact, this is turning into something that is turning into a bit of a head scratcher. Essentially, what I'm looking for is a way of structuring my slides. So I have a folder for behavioral, I have a folder for structural, a folder for creational, and in there I would have the slides. Fine. As well as keeping the next and previous keys. I wonder if I could get away with like knowing what the next. If I was to go into here, I could possibly have next slide and previous slide, right? And therefore, what would happen is when you press the or where'd it go? Index. When you press the next or previous, instead of doing the index of type job where it's incrementing and de-increment, is it de-increment when you're coming down, descending? When you're removing the number, what you're doing is you're actually looking into the slide, because you've got the props here, for the previous or the next slide. That would probably work. That's how I would probably get around with it. So, okay, let's see if we can hack this up. Let's see if we can hack this up. So, essentially, the next challenge now is, let's remove that for a minute. This is going into the local host, isn't it? Yep. I would like, it's this one. I would like to control next and previous based on not a number, but a file name. That's what I want to do. So how do I do that? I guess at this, let's pick on one. Let's pick on the command pattern here. I think what I'll do, let's just make some temporary things in here again. So we're going to do, well, we might as well, I'll tell you what, no. We might as well just copy the lot. That's what we might as well do. So let's go over to, where are we? PHP design patterns. Let's copy creational and structural from here, and the index.md, because essentially that's what I want to have. Go into wherever it's gone. Now, I don't know whether it's easier to that's zero default, that's 02 outro. I'm just wondering why that's called 02 and that's 01. Like, what does that mean? Unless that's just 1 and then that's 2. But of course there were more slides than that, wasn't there? Because there is, well, I've gone and hacked it up now, so it's going to be different. So, okay, a change would be in here where we would have to, you see where it's doing all of these on creates and stuff like this. So we'd have to hack all this up a bit. So here we're getting where it's src slides and then getting the slide number. So that would have to change on create. What I'm thinking actually is that this is actually, it's probably going to be more difficult to hack this up rather than use the standard Gatsby way of creating markdown files and then apply the swipe left, swipe right, because that's essentially the feature that I need here. That's essentially the feature that I want to run. because if you think of it, it's just a website where you have the ability, the knowledge of what is next and what is previous. And if it was boiled down to next and previous as variables here, then that would work. So I'm actually thinking that perhaps we should change this to not be working within this this example. We build a website much like we did with code challenges and the code of conduct, using that sort of technique where it is in here, markdown pages, and then we have the next and previous in here, and we also can define the path of the current slide. It's going to be a bit of a faff, but I think that we can deal with that. We can deal with that, I think. It's coming up to the top of the hour, so I'm going to grab a cup of tea because this is going really cold, and then we'll tackle on with that. So, yeah, expect some more confusion when I return. I'll see you in a few minutes. Where's the stream? I was going to press the Stream Deck, but the Stream Deck doesn't work. This morning I was looking at the Stream Deck before the stream, and I noticed that there was a problem with one of the plugins of the Stream Deck. So I think I'm going to have to do a reinstall. I'll deal with that over the weekend. But for now, though, I'll just put this on the BRB screen, and then I'll shoot back in a few minutes after I get another cup of tea. See you in a mo. Bye. Yeah. There I was trying to press the stream deck, and I was like, nothing's working. Got me tea. Got me tea. Just going through the 2 cups of tea. Just going through the comments. What happens when you click the link? Yeah, I've done that. Yeah, conforming to the Gatsby way of doing things is probably a good way to prevent diverging from the norm. That's a good shout. 2 cups of tea. I think it's time for today's madness. Yeah. Yep. Hello, Abandon. Thank you for joining. Okay, that's an interesting thing Tierna's mentioned. So behavioral command 1MD, 2MD. The link would be quite easy. That way you could just add the front matter with the is last slide to disable the next last slide. That way I guess you could add an index.md to every pattern to define a table of content. That is an interesting idea. So the idea here that Tyrnid's mentioned is to have like command. If I go back to here, so let's say we're in behavioral. Let's say we've got another folder called command, and then 1. And then that would be what? Behavioral iterator and then 2. But I'm not sure how I would jump between the two. I'm not sure how that would work. The link would be quite, yeah, that way you could just add a front matter with an is last slide to disable the next on the last slide link to the start pattern. First slide will send you to the behavioral command. That way, no, I'm getting that wrong. Okay, I don't follow. So is the idea to have a folder like command like this, and then in here we would have something called like 1.md. Is that the idea? I mean behavioral command slide 1 for behavioral. Do you mean where's the damn thing? Do you mean like slide -1 like that in that folder structure? An MD file for every command slide. Oh, okay. Sorry. Right. Okay, so for every slide. Gotcha. Okay, so that would be 1, that would be 2, that would be 3. I see now. Okay, that would be 4, and so on and so forth. I'm just thinking. I'm thinking. That's going to be a lot of slides. Let me think. Do I want to split that up into slides, or do I want to? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that's going to be ginormous. But I see what you mean, because you would end up with an index that you would use. Yeah. You would end up with an index for that. And also, Yeah, because if you think of, yeah, okay. So if you think of the URL, let me see here. Let's just put something on the page. So the URL would be something like, if I can get the spelling right. Let's get something up here to see. So it will be something like, I don't know, localhost, blah, and then it will be something like behavioral. Then it would be command. And then it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the index would be the index. So it would almost be like little mini websites in its self, essentially, right? So there'll be mini websites for every particular pattern. Yeah, and then what I'm looking for is to have, like, this would be the index.html. So that would list the behavioral, the structural, and the creational, much like with if I go home here, that would list these three, right? Which would then jump off to, we would have behavioral. Can never spell that bloody word. That would then be an index as well. And then we would have structural and creational. Yeah. Yeah. That's making sense in my head now. That's making sense in my head. So I think actually what we could do to get around the fact that having a slide, one slide, a markdown file for every single slide, what I could do is I could alter this and have an index.md or slide whatever, and can keep conforming to this. Let me just try this out for a second. I think the first thing I need to do. I think the first thing to do is, because this is this example is written in the way that we need to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and all of this stuff. I think it might be worth. Would it be worth perhaps using the other the code challenges site as a means of an example? Because what? Don't know. I guess I could just try it, right? I could just try. Yeah, because essentially what I'm doing here is I'm creating many little slides, many little slide decks in one. Yeah, if I was to change that to be, if I was to grab all of that, put that in there, okay, change this to be index.md, right? Let's just create another one. Let's do null object. So let's do, or let's just do template. That's probably a good one, template. So template, we're going to put that outside of here. That's capital, no, that's fine. Let's grab all of the template stuff and put that into index.md in here. Okay, so the code will hopefully, I'm going to just tidy this up. I'm just going to remove all of these. Let's just try and lower the craziness first. So what I'm going to try and do, and let's make this better URLs. So the index page would be outside of the behavior. That would be in there, wouldn't it? Okay, let's not worry about that too much. Let's just worry about the command moving from one to the other, because essentially this will be hopefully behavioral / command / 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the end thing here, the jump off, would be going to the next one, which would be null. Well, we'll do the template one rather than null pattern, just as an example. And I tell you what, let's just bring this, because this is a concept. Let's bring this down a little bit. Let's just remove some of these slides, just so I've got space to play with. So we don't need all of this. Let's see if we can do, tell you what, let's even just change all of this to be slide 1. That's fine, whatever. And then this here, we're going to change this to be template. So this is it's just a concept, template. And that should hopefully go to // behavioral / template / 1, I guess, because I guess 1 would be the index, maybe. So let's not worry about that too much. Now the problem with this example, of course, is that it doesn't expect these folders. So it's not going to produce these folders. It's just going to go 1, 2, 3, which kind of sucks. I'm going to need to somehow hack not the config, this together. Because what this is doing is it's altering the pages based on one thing I could do, I guess, is I could change the front matter here and have I'm thinking about doing that. What I just want to get something out of my head, but I'm going to scrap and restart in just a second. I just want to get something out of my head before I do that. I just want this. I just want that, because this is going to be the path which we start from, behavioral, and then this is command, right? The reason being is that I would like whatever I write to go, this is the starting point, and then the slides within this will be / 1, 2, 3. So this would then be this would then be template, and then go through the slides 1, 2, 3, 4, and all the other jazz. Yeah. Okay. Let's go and scrap it. Let's throw it in the bin, and then well, not throw it in the bin. Let's build something else, because I don't think I can bend this to my will. Okay. Test site. Let's create another one, shall we? We're going to do let's just do a history, because I can't remember. History pipe to grep. Let's do Gatsby new. Gatsby new. Can't remember what it was. No, grep doesn't. History pipe to grep. Gatsby new. There we go. Code of conduct. That's probably, it's the default starter. That's what I want. Starter default. Bingo. And that's starter deck. There we go. That's the difference. We're going to grab that. And I'm going to paste that in here. Whoops, if I can. And we're going to change code of conduct. We're going to change that to be test. No, it wasn't test site, was it? Test site is the site. It's the course. Course. Or let's do slides. Let's just do slides. So that will now produce the basic, the starter, right? The starter default. I knew it was something default, but I didn't know. I forgot what it was, if it was starter or not. And then from here, what we can do is we can put in the markdown files as markdown files. I can follow how I built the code of conduct and the code challenges site to actually read markdown files, and then I can hack together the way of producing this. Got this error again. Producing the markdown files on the fly, based on well, it's going to be based on the path, but then it's going to go into the slide, into the markdown files, and then convert each slide to 1, 2, 3. Yeah. CD into slides. This is where we now live. So let's come out of U. We don't need that anymore. Let's do Gatsby develop. Bung it on that port again. And I also need to take this down here. We're going to keep that there. And that one here as well. I just want to do a file open. And I want to grab the new directory that we've just created in courses temp slides. If I can. Are you going to allow me to open that? Thank you. Yeah, I can do it in this window. There we go. Okay, so that's built now. Let me just grab that port again. It's 1990, isn't it? So we should be able to. There we go. It said that there's a 404. If I hit this, we should get the default now. That's the default Gatsby site. So what we need to do is I need to go here. This is the default site now. Whoops. Come on. Where did that go? Course site. Have I just... Oh, that's great. Thank you, PHP Storm, for being so helpful. Sorry about this, guys. Let me just sort this out. No, stop it. Right, up here, we're going to create, in SRC, we're going to create, where we've got pages, we're going to create a new folder in here. We're going to call this Markdown Pages, Markdown, or just Markdown, I'll do. And then in Markdown, we're going to have all of the bits and pieces that we have decided upon, which is the behavioral and the template. So grab those, put those in here, add. Okay, so we've got command and we've got template, call, and their corresponding slides. Groovy, groovy, groovy. Okay, the next thing I need to do is I need to come out of that. We don't need that anymore. We need to play around with Gatsby to build these these pages. So the one thing I need to do is I need to play around with some of the npm bits and pieces. So we're going to use, if we go to npm here, let's see what we've got, package.json. We need to put in, I think we need to put in post CSS for Tailwind, and we also need to fiddle about with the transformer as well. This is the package JSON for the other site. I'm just going to compare the two. Just bring it over here. So we've got obviously Gatsby, image, plugin manifest, blah, 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 blah. A bunch of Babel stuff. Don't need to worry about that at the moment. Thank God. Okay. Rather than trying to remember, there is a tutorial. It's called, funnily enough, adding markdown pages to Gatsby. So there we go. So you need to install the Gatsby source file system, and then you add the plugin, and then you change the path to be the markdown. So we'll run through this. All right. So the first thing I need to do is I need to save that. I need to run that. So we do this. We'll come out of. We'll come here. This is why I've got the two windows open, because I can develop it here and I can hack it up here. So we can run that in like so. This is still, I've got a feeling there's a version problem on this machine, and I've got a feeling it's this is Python. So I'm thinking there's a Python problem, but it doesn't appear to break the actual build. Anyway, now we go into the Gatsby.config.js site, config.js, which is here. Excuse me. And what we want to do is we want to put in this plugin here, which is the file system, and then we resolve this. So this will be markdown rather than pages. So we copy that, and we put that into, into here. So we've got we've got the plugins here. So I'll put this right at the bottom. So that's the plugin that we've just installed. This is the name. We want to change that to be markdown, and we want to change that to be markdown as well. Actually, let's just create some. Let's just follow convention, shall we? Let's not make things any more complicated than they should be. Let's just and then I can change this if this works, right? Because eventually that's going to be called slides, and this is not going to be called slides. This is going to be the actual project name. So, you know, this is a concept. Okay. Scroll down here. Now we need to have the transformer, because this is transforming markdown into transforming markdown into HTML using the remark plugin. So we run this. I'm probably going to get that error again, aren't I? Yeah, that is on stream. Cool. Do. Come on. Give me those great node packages. Thank you. Added 112. Woohoo! Wow. Okay. So what we need to do here is we need to add this, add it to the config, and it's important to do it after the source file. This is why I put these all in below. So we grab that and we pass that into here. That is right. No, it's not. It is here. There we go. Okay, so then we add a markdown file, and we add this to the markdown pages, and we call this post-1 or whatever you want. So in here, I tell you what, let's just create let's just follow convention here. This is post-1, right? Post-1.md. This is pretty much how I built the those two sites I showed you earlier, and then we grab that. That's front matter. Bung it in there, right? So now that's the path. Blog, my first blog post. And then what you do is you create a blog template.js file, which is what we've created here, which is in src in that's the markdown pages that we've created. But in templates, you have the blog template. So this is the template that actually creates the page, right? But it's got some nifty GraphQL that gets the path based on the path that you've supplied. So I guess what I could do is, because this is using, I can't really copy this because it's using other bits and pieces. So I'll just copy this for now. And copy that. And we'll put it into a folder called templates. And in here, we'll create a new file. We call this blog template. And again, this is just a concept, right? So all of these things will be changed to meet the usual. So it won't be called blog, it will be course, it won't be called slides here, it'll be the project name, all of that jazz. I just want to throw something together, throw it against the wall and see if anything sticks. Okay, so that's now being pushed through. Create a static page using the create page API. So this is in the node, Gatsby node thing here, and this is going to get all of the pages, and it's going to list them all out. I think. Let me just double check that. Is that? So it's going to get the blog post template, and then it's going to get the result from the GraphQL. It's going to handle any errors, and then it's going to produce. Sorry, this isn't going to list the pages. No, sorry. This is going to produce the pages. Beg your pardon. Yes. So copy that, push this into node.js here. There we go. Boom. Okay, so this is now going to go through and use the blog template, which I've defined in here, which is src templates, blog template, and that's going to be in here. That's going to produce all of these things. Right. Do we have... If I was to refresh, that's still going to fail. Okay, let's see. I might have to do a rebuild. So let's come out of that. Bring that up again. There'll be errors on the thing if it can't build it. Building development bundle. Okay, that's succeeded. Let's refresh this page. There we go. So that's the starter. But if I go to markdown pages, if I go to post 1, copy that path, paste that into here, we get my first blog post. Okay, so that is being produced by the markdown file. In theory, what does this do? Ooh, okay, I'm feeling it. Okay, we could have something working here. Let's see the template because that's got more slides. In theory, yeah. Okay, so this is the template, and you can see that the slides are split with the horizontal rule there. This is because of the three dashes. So there is something here, isn't there? So what we've done here is we've gone to behavioral/template. What I would like to do now is find a way of converting each one of these slides, which are denoted by that's a slide, that's a slide. Essentially, that would be converted to a page. So that's what I need to do somehow, is I need to now convert, I need to go through each one of these things and then convert them into their relative slides somehow, which means that I'm going to go to course here, new window. Right, this is the original. This is the slide deck that we originally played with, and if I think it's in here. I think it's this point here. So where we've got the on create pages. If I was to compare that with this one here, so we have our node. So we've got our on create pages. We're taking it from the, well, we're looping through all of the markdown files. That's what we're doing. And then we're looping over each one, passing that into here. Now, that's all well and good, but I need to convert these into actual pages. Now I could do, actually, what am I doing? I'm in the wrong project, aren't I? It's this project here. It's the same thing. Now what I could do, as what Turner suggested, is I could, if I wanted to, let's say the template here, I could have that as 1 MD, that as 2 MD, that as 3 MD. I could do that. That could work, right? Let's try it, right? Let's try it. So we could have, that would be index.md, which would be, which would cut off here. No, whoop. Come on, grab all of that. That would cut off at this point. Then we would have 1 MD, which would be here, which would be the cutoff. Well, it wouldn't. We would, because it's just markdown. We wouldn't need to worry about that. It would just be this, and then this would be 2 MD, and this would be, so it would be that, wouldn't it? And then that would be the final one, which would be 3 MD. You know what? This isn't so bad. I thought it would be horrendous, but actually, this isn't so bad. Okay, and then that would be the index. So that would be the index thing. So let's save that. Let's go into, it was command. Whoops, what have I done? Behavioral command. Why is that not? Oh. Hang on a minute, have I screwed something up? Oh, I've got you. I got you. Okay, yeah, I need to put in. So that's that. I think I need to do front matter for all of them. Yeah, I do, don't I? Yeah, I do. So that would be 1. That would be 2. And that would be 3. And can I refresh that? No, something's not happy. Your site must be set to the page when creating the page. What? Must be set to the page part. Oh. Okay, and it's just failed. So let's build that again. You've got to be careful. Sometimes Gatsby will just freak out and then just die. So you got to be sort of half an eye on the terminal. Okay, so that's successfully built. So it's because I was hacking it up and it didn't rebuild itself. So let's refresh. Okay, so that's the command pattern index. 1 would be the concept. 2 would be the interface. 3 would be something else, and then that would be the jump off to the next one. You know, this isn't such a bad thing, right? This isn't such a bad thing, and it might actually be worth doing this and having like small chunks of slides rather than a slide deck itself. Yeah. And because it's 1 and 2, I can then increment them forward and back, keeping this here. Yeah. Okay. Let's just see what it looks like with this here. So we've got the template. We'll have quite a few slides here. Well, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But that's not so bad. I think if it grew to like 20, it would be a little bit sort of like, you know, crazy. And really, if you know, if it's less than 20 slides, then why in per folder, then there really isn't a need to generate slides dynamically. I don't think. I think that would be too much of a challenge. Yes, you do. Tyranids has asked, do you need to specify a path for every MD file? Yes, you do. Because what you're doing here is you're supplying it. Is it here? No, it's not here. Sorry, it's I've gone and lost it. It's in the blog template here. You're passing in the path. So what's happening is the path that you supply in here in the actual browser is being passed into the query as variable path, and then variable path is finding the markdown based on the path. So it's a way of, you know, connecting the two. If I wanted to, I could do some clever things where it's looking for the file name, right? It's looking for the file name. In this case, it would be 1, 2, and 3. So I could probably get away with not passing in and making that one-to-one connection, because what I can do is that would come in as 1, and then I would write some logic to find the file name, which would be 1, which would be 2, which means that we wouldn't need to have the path. Again, this is a concept, so I'm just sort of throwing things together. There is, I'll see if I can find, if I bring that down here a minute, I think there is, if I had a look at, I love that monkey. Dance, monkey, dance. I think if I, GatsbyJS, and it was URL, there is something about is it this one? There's one of them is used for finding the path based on the extension, the directory, and the modified time. Right. So this is actually how you can query files based on a series of patterns that you supply to the URL. based on the extension, the directory, and the modified time. So there are ways in which you can actually hack this together to make it a little bit more user-friendly, right? User-friendly, and I think that's probably what we would do, just to keep the maintenance overhead lower, I guess. So that's Gatsby source system. Sourcing data into your Gatsby application from your local file system. The plugin creates file nodes from files. The various transformer plugin transform file nodes into various other types of data, e.g. Gatsby transform JSON. So if you wanted to, you can convert your markdown into JSON, or using the Gatsby transform remark transforms markdown files nodes, which you can query into HTML representation of markdown. So you could, if you wanted to, you could create some queries that's going for all the files, getting the edges of those, going through each of the nodes, finding the extensions. So you could have .json, .pdf, whatever, getting the directory and the modified times as well. And what you would do is you would generate, that would be used to generate, so on create node, to generate those files, right? There is also a challenge that I want to do where it's moving from one to the other, because at the moment this is an okay concept, right? But I don't have the left and right ability. Morty. Thank you very much. I've just seen the message there. Thank you for sending me that. The Tailwind responsive job. Thank you. That'll be will come in very useful. Okay, so So the one thing I want to do is try and make this dynamic, so it gets generated dynamically. The other one, or do I want to do that? No, I don't want to do that. I want the path to be dynamically generated, I think. Although it's not going to be a massive problem if it isn't. But one thing I definitely want to do is the left and right click. So let's see if we can hack that together. There is that project, isn't there, that I was looking at earlier. It is the did I put it in course? There we go. And what we're doing here, I think, is in the index pages. Is it index? Nope. Slides. Nope. Nope. I've gone and lost it. Where did it go? Index.js. It's in the layout. So this here is this is a template wrapper, and you have swipe left and swipe right. So this is the ability to do that on a phone, I would imagine. Then you have the way of navigating. So if the key is previous and it's currently the first slide, then return false because you can't go anywhere because you're on the first slide. And then here, else if this is next index of key code, then we move on to, well, no, we don't move on. So hang on, what's this doing? If next index of key code doesn't equal -1, and now, what's now? Now is, oh, the current slide. Okay, so if you're on the current slide, and the current slide is the slide length, right, okay, so that's an edge case, then we return false. But this is the navigation. These are the two things here that I want to play with. So you can navigate forward, and then you can navigate backwards. Okay. We've got some component did mounts here. So these are adding event listeners to the key down to fire off these events. This navigate. What is this navigate doing? Where can I see that, please? This navigate is this navigate. Okay, gotcha. And what's that doing? That's a promise. There's nothing up in there. Swipeable. I don't need to worry about. I'm not going to worry about swipeable stuff at this stage of the game. I don't think. But there is. Oh yeah, and transitions. Again, I don't need to worry about transitions. And then this is the. This would be the static query. That's getting all the slides, getting the ID off of that, I believe. Then this is the template wrapper. This is passing in the data that's come from the static query here. Getting the properties and what looks like the length, I think. Interesting. Okay. I guess the first thing I need to do is so these are defining the keys, right? So 37 is the previous, so these are the arrow keys, right? And this is comparing that. Fine, okay. And then this .navigate is here, and I'm a bit confused as to that though. Is that a navigate function? Is this a this is a React thing? Gotcha. This is a React thing. Okay, so navigating to the there. So that would be the path, right? So that would be path 1. So that would be behavioral command / and then whatever the current is, slide is +1, and then same again. So essentially I need this sort of nice little way of doing this, really. They've put this in the index.js. Which is okay. Index extends component, which would and then that's that slide. Is there a way I can see how that has actually been imported? Okay, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy that file and I'm going to put this into my project. So I'm going to we're going to put this into components, and we're going to pass that in like so. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change these imports. We're not worrying about swipables. We're not worrying about transitions. That's not a problem with what we're doing here. So we're not worrying about swiping. That's no problem here. We're not worrying about... there was another thing, wasn't there? This transition stuff. That's getting the location, see? We're not worrying about the swipeable bits and pieces. Okay, so this is the layout, I guess. This is the layout .js, essentially. In layout.js here, we have all the... This is for the home page here. So I guess what we should do is we should do that. Let's remove this. Okay, template wrapper. And then that's the helmet, getting the template, getting the name, but fine, whatever. Transition, I think I'll just call this div. I'm going to put in the location, and we're not going to worry about the swipeable properties here. This is then going through, I probably have to modify all of this a bit. Location, let's just, let's not worry about that. Let's just put in a div. I'm interested as to what, I'm guessing that holds the location. Is location used anywhere up here? Location, yes it is, it is. Okay, so I do need to have, because that's passing in the constant of render. Location would be sent. but that was coming through. That was coming through a swipeable, wasn't it? A transition. Sorry, transition. Sod it. What's the worst that can happen, right? It just break. It just blow apart. Let's just remove that. And then that's the children. So that would be the actual slide itself. Okay, I've probably broken it massively. Yes. Okay, module error from node ESLint index. Cannot query name on site metadata. Interesting. Okay, pages, index.js. That's fine. Okay, I probably need to think about this a little bit more. Let's take a look at another project demo. Not that one. That one. One that works. So let's take a look at the components. That's what I'm looking for. The layout.js here. Scroll up to the top. Okay, I think I probably need to I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to call if I can find that. There we go. I'm going to call layout.cs.js. I'm going to rename that to something else for a minute just to get that out the way, because I think I've gone and really broken it. And we're just going to see if we can get the old layout back. PHP Storm. It's in this one. And it's not that one. It is this one. Okay. All right. So we're putting it back to what it was for a minute. In fact, actually, that's not what it was it? Local history. Show history. This is what I love about PHP Storm. So it was that one, wasn't it? Yep. Yep. Grab that, copy that. Come out of that, go into layout.js, paste that in. There we go. Okay, so it's now, it should be now back to what it was if I was to recompile this. Hopefully, fingers crossed. No, something's broken. Oh, is it because it's trying to get the all file from, did you mean all site rather than all file? I think this is because it's trying to render all slide here. And this is because it's been defined differently. So really what I need to do, it's all markdown, not all slide, is I need to just hack this up, I think. I think that's okay. Nope. Cannot. Okay, because this is working off of the site thing. That's fine. It's because I've copied and pasted code. That's all. And date up here as well. Let's remove that as well. Save. And see, it's now built. Let's do that. There's something wrong with name. Bit of trial and error here going on. So site metadata doesn't have the name. There is an error with the graph, cannot query field name. Name. Site metadata. Let me just double check on index.php. I think, not layout.js. It's site metadata, it's title, not name. That's what I'm trying to replicate, isn't it? Doesn't have the name, it has the title. Okay. Run queries successfully. Going to close that and run this again. This is now failing because of the index.css is not wired up. So in components, slides components, layout.temp.js requires a index.css. Let's remove that. Okay, that looks like it's been fine. I'm killing it and then rebuilding it again because sometimes you have to do that, especially when you're hacking different imports together. So that's now working. Finally. Okay, so that's as it was. Good. Okay. Sweet. So we've now got back to the layout that works. So let's see if we can merge the two. Or what I could do, I suppose, is create a component specifically for the wrapper and then import it into the layout. That probably would be sensible, wouldn't it? So don't worry about that. Let's put that in. So this is now in layout, in the head block. That's the constant. That's the static query. Okay, first of all, let's do this one at a time. Let's see if we can move put that in there. What's template wrapper? Oh yeah, that is the class, isn't it? Okay. And then after, so we've exported the default properties of that. Whoops. Template wrapper.props. We'll put here. We're just slowly working our way up. Okay, and then the next one is to actually render this out. So it goes all the way to the class like so. Okay, and then we then have the header, and then we have all the imports. Okay, I could have just copied the file, I suppose, but I just wanted to work it through in my head as I went. So let's see if we can remove all of this. Okay, it's just duplicated code fragments, no problem. Layout.temp, where did that? So I'm seeing template.props, and here I'm seeing layout.props, so there's something not right. Oh, .props here, so that should be there. And I think, does that cover it? I think so. All right. So we've got problems with the index query. Multiple root queries found in file. Again, I don't trust it, so I'm going to rebuild it from scratch. Okay. Only one index query will be registered. So index query and index query. Okay, it did pass, but let's see if we can sort this problem out. So the query, we've got the index query there. Is it complaining because we've got layout JS here and it's complaining that there is one there? Yes, because you can only have one index query. Yes, that would be the cause. Let's change that to be something else. Let's change that to be index foo for a minute. Kill this. Okay, cool. So that's gone through. Wonderful. Okay, I've probably still broken various bits and pieces because... Oh, actually, no, I haven't. That should be on the wrong... That's the wrong file, isn't it? It's index temp. Is that the one that I'm playing with? Right, so there's no need to have that anymore. That should go. That should go. Yeah. Right. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, no. There we go. Back to what it was. Phew. I thought I had totally destroyed it. Okay, cool. Okay, so, all right. Okay, we're moving forward a little bit, maybe. So we now have the ability. We now have this in the template wrapper, right? Because this is in with the children here. So if I had a look at the developer thing here, we should have post children, post blog, blog content concept, role as group, ID is Gatsby. Okay, so maybe it hasn't actually done what I thought it was going to do, unless we would need to look at the homepage here. Type undefined is not an object. Evaluating data all slides.edges. Gotcha. All slides.edges. So all slides was here, .edges. All slides. Where is that being referred to? This is being data. Data is coming from here. Getting the edges off of the node. So it is breaking. I think this is because in here I've changed it to be all markdown rather than in here layout.js. So that's all. Yeah, that should. I've got a feeling that should be all markdown rather than all slide. I think. And I'm going to have to rebuild that because it's probably failed miserably. No such file or directory of component layout. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so what's going on here? So we've got some Webpack errors here. All the nefarious 98123 Webpack error. Okay, so this is, we can't resolve layout temp. Well, I thought I deleted that. Something's not right with layout temp. Let's see if we can hack that. Something is requiring layout temp, and I don't know why. I bet that was my IDE being clever, and just because I renamed it. Let's do a find in path layout underscore temp. Yes. It was my IDE because I changed it. My IDE was trying to be clever. So this is in 404 layout temp. This should just be layout. I could have just done a find and replace, but I think these are the only 3 places. Okay, let's see now if I go back to here. It said that it's rebuilt, so let's refresh. Okay, there's another error. Let's see if we can get that on the terminal. Undefined is not an object evaluating data or markdown.edges. This is in the template wrapper. Okay, so that did work, but this is still coming up with this error. This is because I think we're running off of a different query. So in here, what we're doing at the bottom here is we're getting a static query based on all markdown remark. And that was all slides. I think that was let me have a look. Course site, that was in index.js. It was right at the bottom. It was all slide. It was all slide. And all slide, if I was to just do a double check as to where this is, finding path, boom. In project, maybe. So we've got index.js and we've got layout.js. I thought that we would define all slide. I thought we needed to define that somewhere else, but maybe I'm totally mistaken. I thought that needed to refer back to the needed to refer back to the pages that were being built based on your node here, but perhaps not. Perhaps not. Let me just see what the node does look like in that project. That would probably be a good idea. So if we go into here, we have all markdown remarks. Okay. So no, I was totally wrong. Totally wrong. Fine. Okay. Okay. Type is slide implements. I don't know what that's about. Cannot find all slide on type query. Did you mean all site or all file? Oh, hang on a minute. Is this, if we go to index in here, all slide, let's just take a look. What have we got here? We've got swipeable. We've got transition. All slide. I'm just wondering whether that's being pulled in from somewhere else. I guess what we could do to check this, do we have the ability to run the GraphQL thing? Yes, we do. Let's see if we can get that running. Gotcha. All right, so this is the GraphQL Explorer, I suppose you would call it. So this is the all markdown job, right? So you can find all the bits and pieces from here. So let's do, I don't know, limit to 10. Let's run that. That would run all of the markdown. This would return all the files, right, that we've got here. And then we've got all files, then we've got all sites, then we've got markdown remark here. So, yeah, maybe it's markdown remark rather than that. I'm getting myself confused. Maybe it's just all markdown. I'm making this up now, and I'm in the wrong project. Course. all slide would correspond to something in here, which it isn't. All markdown remark would be how this works. So you would have all markdown remark as the query, and then it would be edges and nodes. But I'm sure that's how I had it. That is how I had it. I'm sure I did it. I'm sure that's how I had it. Otherwise, I'm going mad. What's all this? So still all slides. Why are we dealing with all slides? I thought am I editing the wrong damn thing? I am. That's why. Let's quickly put that back, otherwise I'm going to get myself really confused. Yikes. So it's all marked down. No. Yes. All markdown remark. All markdown remark. And it is there. That's create pages. That's going to all dot or markdown. Okay, so that's the node.js. So we don't want to change that. We want to change the layout up here. We want to change this. So all markdown remark in like so. So let's see if we can. Okay, so that's successfully ran apparently. There we go. Okay, so we have that. Woo. Can I just have a cup of tea for a minute? Come on, watch a PHP and Python developer try and work GatsbyJS. Okay, so we this is something's happening now. This is coming through. Can I just make sure that we don't have anything else? Let's just run it again. Let's make sure that we have a clean run through. That's that we've got a failure up here somehow. Cannot read property of edges of undefined of Gatsby Node.js through an error whilst creating pages in the lifecycle. Cannot read the property of edges. Okay, line 31 has blown up. Line 31. So we go to is it? Yeah, it is Node. Line 31. Here is this. Is this remark? I'm not even going to type it because I'll get it wrong. That's not what I wanted. I just wanted to copy the damn thing. There we go. No! I don't think that's right, you know. In fact, I don't think that's the case. I think I need to take a look at this one here, Node. It's all that. Okay, so that is all down remark, and that is all. Okay, I'll just be quiet. I'll just be quiet, and I'll just let's just run this again. Da 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 da. Could put a Benny Hill theme tune to this. Right, that looks like it's going through. Okay, finally, woo. Okay, cool. Right, wonderful. And if we did show web inspector, if we go into here, do we have ID slide? That's what I'm looking for. That is the ID of the slide. Finally. Whew. Finally. Because the thing, what I was looking for in here was the fact that we would have the ID slide and then the children would be there. So there we go. Okay. Talk about getting getting yourself in a bit of a confusing mess. Okay. Okay, so we still haven't conquered the fact that we want to go forward and back yet. Yeah. But we've managed to get it wrapped in here, which is good. So this is obviously returning the index.js, and it shouldn't be. It should be returning the index file of here, potentially. So if we were to change this, that would be my first blog post. So that would be slash refresh my first blog post, and of course that's going to go on and broken it. So really what we want to do in the index.js is we want to pull out that that slide. That's what we want to do. The first slide, the index slide. Somehow. Yeah. Right, I'm just seeing the time. I need to shoot off in a few minutes because I got to jump on a call. But this is a great example of where you think that you've got a fantastic idea and then you spend 2 hours live streaming it, proving the fact that you're actually wrong. I think with a little bit more care and a little bit more some time, I could probably get this to where I want to be. I think that eventually Gatsby and React is probably going to be a better solution than MARP. I think that's my gut feeling. I just need to configure it. I just need to get it configured. Yeah, so I've got to jump on a call, and then I think I'll probably tackle some of this tonight after some beers and see where it goes. Yeah. What's my gut feeling on this? Can I get it done or not? Like, I'm starting to think that the MARP thing, yes, I can't configure it very well in terms of the look and feel, but it does its thing, right? It does what I need it to do. Am I making this more complicated than it should be? Am I sacrificing time now, which I should be spending actually doing the course? Or am I just looking for another itch to scratch? Yeah, I think I need to think about this deeply as to what I want to achieve out of this. I think because it's a lot of work. I've just spent a lot of hours just trying to get this to actually run, and I don't actually have a finished product yet. But anyway, I do need to dive off, and I'll think about it. But I will be back this Sunday. I will be back on 14:30, and I'll let everybody know whether or not I've decided this is a bad idea or not. Thank you ever so much, everybody, for joining on the stream. Happy coding, everyone, and I'll see you on Sunday at 14:30 GMT, or I'll talk to you again on the Discord channel. Happy coding, everyone. Take care. Cheers. Bye bye. What a crazy Gatsby world we live in. See you later. Bye bye. Stream Deck doesn't work.